I would now like to invite Emilio Mordini, Coordinator Project RISE, to make his comments.
Thank you, Dr. Bejai. Mr. Minister, ladies and gentlemen and friends. After one-day conference, I have still more enthusiasm than when we started. We gave us an incredible and fascinating picture of what technology can do to improve human life and democracy as well. Of course, technology is always a risk, but is always an opportunity. It is up to us the way in which we deal with technology. This is the reason why technology is never a trivial event to be just faced through technical means, but it is always an event full of meanings, full of sense, full of civilization. We should use technology through the lens of our culture, our civilization. I think that we and you show how this is possible. I started today by saying that biometrics can be both to empower or to disempower people. Biometrics can be to put under surveillance, to put at risk democracy, but it is also a great instrument to give people the possibility to have an identity. And there is no right, there is no human right, no civil right, no political right, no social right without certain identities. There is a right to identity. So I would like to conclude this very rapid, brief comments to this day with this reflection, this consideration. The European Union has made privacy as a basic fundamental human rights. I think that there is now the need to pose the question about another basic fundamental human rights, which is the right to identity. Only the United Nations Declaration of the Right of Children made identity as a fundamental right. And as far as I know, in Europe, the Portuguese constitution. No other international document has made this fundamental move. And I think that we should start from now, from today, from this conference in Dehli, to discuss the right of identity as a fundamental human right, universal right. Let me conclude. The RISE project has been opened by the Dehli conference. You know that the European Commission sponsored this project, which started last March. And this is the first big, large event of the RISE project. We are not going to go to Hong Kong, then Beijing, Washington, D.C., then Brussels. I hope that this will be a path that we can do all together. It is not only a formal, but a friendly, warm invitation to all of you to follow our work, to participate in the next meeting. You are going to receive a formal invitation from the organizing committee of the Hong Kong conference. Mr. Jai Kumar is going to contact all of you. Please participate in the Hong Kong conference. And in any case, remain in contact with us through the internet and through the website. I would like to conclude the organizers of this conference, the DSCI, of course, his chairman, Mr. Sharma Ghosh, his CEO, Mr. Kanesh Dajai, and I would like to give a warm thank to two persons that did a lot of work and spent a lot of efforts for doing this, who are Nikhil and Viviane. Thank you, and just let me conclude thanking the Minister for being here.
May I now invite the Honorable Minister of Information Technology, Shri Sachin Pilot, to give his valedictory address.
Dr. Bajaj, Mr. Ghosh, Mr. Mordini, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start, I just want to make a few comments on the whole concept of data protection and privacy. Some of you in this room perhaps are aware that the whole concept of privacy in this country and in this part of the world is a whole lot different than it is in the Western world, in Europe and America, in places of that sort. And I think it's important for all of us to understand that for India to retain its edge as a major player in information technology, to really be the engine of growth for information communication technologies, we have to condition ourselves to the needs and aspirations and requirements of the global players and global markets. Because I know in our society, privacy is very differently defined, and it's a lot more sensitive in the western part of the world. To a lot of computer users, the concept of biometric authentication is limited to thumb reader devices, eye scanners, and voice pattern recognition. Such technologies still face stiff competition in most enterprise circles, where passwords and user tokens seemingly work well enough and are quicker and cheaper to deploy. However, the field of biometrics is much more wider and complex. Existing security strategies that grant access only after the presentation of a user's recognized physical traits are changing. Updated versions of fingerprint, voice, and eye scanners are gaining popularity with IT managers. Newer biometric authentication layers are tightening the security for computers and data access. These innovative devices are making it more difficult for imposters to spoof their way into data and should not be able to have access. Biometrics is now becoming increasingly common in establishments that require high security, such as physical security and financial sectors. The increased threat to national security by the terrorists has also led to an increased usage of biometrics in many countries, including that in India. For decades, the biometric technologies would primarily be used in law enforcement applications. Currently, they are increasingly being required in multiple applications worldwide. For more than a decade, the most popular biometric technology centered on the fingerprint recognition. While the applications needing deployment of biometric techniques have increased, the use of biometric technology based on fingerprint recognition itself has raised a variety of concerns, which are being largely technical in nature. As a result, new biometric techniques have emerged. These techniques deployed in biometrics have now moved beyond mere fingerprint recognition and now also deploy face, iris, hand, retinal images, and dynamic signature patterns. As such, the biometrics products are becoming more and more sophisticated and making it difficult to impersonate. The products being introduced in the market deploy one or more of these techniques in combination. One of the key drivers behind the push for biometric technologies is that governments are beginning to mandate that biometric identifiers such as facial images and fingerprints are used in official documents, including passports. Various governments around the world are either employing or considering deploying biometrics-based systems for identification and verification purposes. The biometrics technology in India is being used for driving licenses, ATM cards, debit cards, background checks, and physical authentication, visitor tracking, as well as passenger screening and control and access. Almost every bank is using two-factor authentication for operation of bank and account through the internet. Some of the banks have also deployed three-factor authentications. The market for biometrics card will register a significant growth, particularly with the implementation of the national identity cards and our e-governance applications. I think moving forward, the Government of India has committed itself to deploying a lot of these resources towards the creation of national identity cards and numbers, and as well as the many e-governance projects that we have started. The country has developed most sophisticated state-of-the-art technology in respect of fingerprints, capturing and verification. However, the research and development and production of other biometrics technologies is far behind as compared to international standards. Even though development is taking place in different parts of areas of biometrics and at a number of institutions here in India. The four areas of biometrics, namely face, iris, finger, and combination, are trust areas of the government, and accordingly the research and development at various institutions is funded to develop various techniques suitable for various applications. A number of projects have been funded for developing biometric techniques and particularly in the area of face and voice recognition. Considering the potential offered by this technology, the research and development area is still, I believe, at nascent stage. The science of biometrics testing is also very much in its infancy. The efforts at present going on in the country are directed more towards commercial biometrics. Government, industry, and academia have little experience working collectively with each other and within each other's areas of influence. Significant efforts are required to mature this technology for its widespread adaptation and different disciplines. The issue which needs to be focused pertains to accuracy, vulnerability, and performance and security. The biometrics technology has the potential for widespread use for conducting secure transaction and physical access. The use of technology in the country has reached sufficient stage, and interagency relationships have developed to a point that in-depth collaboration on future biometric systems and overall governance could very well begin. The industry, academia, government, both central government and state governments, have to come together and focus on expanding knowledge of biometrics, share operational issues, learn from each other's experiences, and ultimately use it for rapid development and deployment of biometrics technologies. I think here it's important for us as an industry, as a government, as a country, to learn from the experiences of other companies and organizations, other institutions, as well as being open to deploying the best practices that are being followed globally. I'm glad that DSCI has organized a workshop twice, which includes 8 different countries. I'm sure that this workshop has been fruitful, even though this is the fag end of the day. You seem reasonably enthused by this last presentation. I take that as something that keeps you awake and interested. And I'm sure that in this workshop there will be many ideas exchanged, debates and discussions, and exchanging of such ideas and programs will perhaps help us better cooperate and collaborate with each other, again working with the government, industry and academia. I wish you all much success in your endeavors, and thank you very much for having me this evening.
Nice to meet you. All the best. Thank you again.